Today we're talking about the man behind many of Mariah's greatest dance remixes, David Morales. Hey guys, Treacle here and welcome back to my channel. Before we jump into today's content, a quick word about my channel. You may have noticed that an ad played before the start of this video, and this is because my channel is now officially monetized. So this has been a little dream of mine to work towards. We're finally here. The channel has grown and grown thanks to all of you guys. It's been so amazing. I am now monetized and you will start to see ads appearing on my videos. The plan is for this to bring in just a little small income. It's going to be tiny to start with. Hopefully as the channel grows, that can grow. I'm loving what I'm doing here on True Treacle, but it does take time and effort. If I can earn a small income through doing this, then that sets me up to be able to put more time aside and bring you guys regular content. So with that in mind, I have launched a Patreon page. If you haven't heard of Patreon, very simply put, it's a way for you guys as viewers to support me as a YouTuber, as a content creator. So if you check out the link to my Patreon page, I'll put it in the description below, I'll put the link there. You can look at different packages and you can get as involved as you want to. So there's the chance to go behind the scenes and see how I plan my content, my filming and editing process. You can get involved in live streams, so we can have one-on-one video chats and geek out about all things Mariah related. You can get as involved as you want to. Any support that you can offer on my Patreon page is going to help make the dream a reality for me and really support me and my channel here. So head on over to there and I love you for it. I'm really excited for today's content. So a few weeks ago, a lamb named Leo commented on one of my videos and explained that he worked in radio and he once had the opportunity to interview David Morales. Now, as you all know, David Morales has produced some of Mariah's biggest hits when it comes to dance remixes, so this was really exciting for me to hear. Leo and I connected on social media and he is going to share with all of us a portion of that interview with David Morales and talk to us about working with Mariah. So we are going to hook up with Leo right now. Hi Leo.
Hey, how are you?
I am very well, how are you?
We're okay. We're just in lockdown and it's been extended. I've been working from home since March.
It's been a crazy year. Thank God for MC30 and all of these weekly goodies. Thank you so much for joining me and agreeing to share this. It's really exciting when you popped up on the comments and explained a little bit. But just walk me through it all again. So just talk to me a little bit about your work and how this whole interview moment with David came up.
Yeah, well, at the time, early 2013, he was down for Mardi Gras. And at the time I was working for Joy 94.9, which is Australia's only rainbow radio station, and we play heaps of Mariah, heaps of remixes. So when the request came through for Mr. David Morales, hello, I was beside myself. So yes, I'm going to grab that interview. And yeah, he came in. It was just before Mardi Gras in Sydney, so he was in Melbourne to do a gig that night. So he was a bit jet lagged, bit tired, but a really fun interview, and was really complimentary of Mariah and the work they've done together. And it was just it was nice seeing an artist and a DJ just so lovely towards Mariah and her work ethic, and it was just a great chat.
Let's jump into the interview and let's have a quick listen.
Talking of Mariah, of course, you began working with her in 1993 when you remixed Dreamlover, and what I loved about that track was she went into the studio and redone her vocals, and it's not like the standard normal version, it's a whole new version. What was it like working with Mariah, and how did that partnership start?
Well, it's funny because you know what? They asked me to, because before that, I wasn't a Mariah Carey fan, per se. I heard about Mariah Carey, you know, she was a new singer, everybody talked about her. But I was into the dance market, you know, into the DJ bit. And so when they asked me, they sent me Dreamlover, the original, because normally when I remix records, they just give you the parts to mix.
Yeah.
but this was a pure bubblegum pop record. I was like, this is no way I'm going to be able to make this a hit record. So just to throw it out there, I just like, listen, the only way this will work is her re-singing it. But I never thought it would actually come to that. And when they said, okay, she'll re-sing it, I was like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? So I wrote a new track. She was amazing. She redid the song in a whole different key, a whole different melody. And it brought Mariah to the club world, to an audience that you didn't hear Mariah's songs on the dance floor. You didn't hear the diva. You know what I mean? And it brought her to another realm that other people were like, wow, she can really... You know, you wasn't hearing this la 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 Gucci Gucci thing anymore. Now you heard like, wow, proper, let me give it to you. And she was amazing. She was a workaholic. The woman is unbelievable. There is no smoke and mirrors with her whatsoever.
At the moment, she's on American Idol at the moment. And I guess people are seeing a whole different side of her because they're seeing her personality. She's quite fun. She's really, having that voice, she's got a lot of advice to give these young singers,
Well, of course. When I first started with her, because obviously I started with her when she was married to Tommy Mottola, and she was like well guarded, and I watched the difference. She was on lockdown, so everything was business, no outsiders, and I worked with her post her marriage, Tommy Mottola, where she had her friends come into the studio and she had her groupies, and she was more open and more looser and more fun and things like that. If I had to name out of all the remixes, the one that's been the best, the one that's really brought out my talents and being able to work, because it really took me to a place of being a producer, because in 1983 I didn't even put out any records out that I produced. I didn't have an album out yet, so it was Dreamlover. So Dreamlover was the results was just, it was global. You know what I mean? I remember going to London and they had the record on the shelf and people were like, oh my God, Dreamlover, Mariah, Dreamlover. I was like, wow. So people received that very, that's my number one all-star, remix.
And what a mix it was.
When was the last time you actually listened back to it?
Well, I found it because I've got a hard drive full of years and years of interviews I've done over the years. I've done hundreds. I've been lucky to sort of work in the industry and to interview some of my favourite artists. But to answer that question, I haven't actually listened to it since probably, since back in the day. Obviously, it was a live interview, so it was live to air. And in the ad break, he actually mentioned that there's a few unreleased Mariah tracks that they've been working on together. And I was like, okay, when are we going to see these? This is so exciting
to hear.
I know. So whether that was remixes or actual songs, I'm not sure. But he mentioned he was remixing, he was going to remix Triumphant.
I do enjoy the remixes we have of Triumphant. And I love the vintage throwback one. And it does give me that kind of, David flavour. Yeah. But what did he say about Triumphant? Did he kind of just slip it in that he was lined up to remix it, or he would have liked to? Or
he was going to remix Triumphant, and he had a track all done for it, but it didn't quite work out. So had we had that remix, it would have been really cool. Because he hasn't really done many remixes with Mariah since then. So that would have been a really cool moment, and I wish he would remix some of her recent stuff, just to have that sort of, because his mixes are just, they go off in clubs and they're great to sort of play on radio and they're really uplifting, and having all these Mariah goodies over the last few weeks has just been a godsend.
Yeah, it sounds like he came pretty close to remixing Triumphant then, if he had a track ready. Sounds like he was pretty close. And I think that there's definitely been a Mariah David drought in recent years. I would love so much for David to remix some more of Mariah's tracks. Definitely.
Well, even if she was to get some remixes now to remix some of her old stuff to a new flavour would be amazing. Like people like Seventh Heaven, who are based in the UK, who do a lot of sort of uplifting, sort of gay, sort of mixes would be incredible. And even for David to come in and do some mixes of some new tracks and maybe some tracks which he didn't work on, just to add a bit of variety to the mix would be great.
Yeah, I would love
for
that so
sure.
much. One part of the interview with David Morales I found really interesting were his comments on how he found Mariah in her situation at the time with Tommy. So I've got a little quote here because I found it really interesting. She was well guarded. She was on lockdown. Everything was business, no outsiders. That really paints the picture that we've come to learn over the years of what life was like for her. But I always find it interesting when somebody outside that immediate bubble kind of pops in, you know, and is like a guest. They kind of come into that world. And I think it's interesting anytime someone sheds a little bit of light. And then by contrast, he's worked with her years later when she's in a completely different situation. I'm really fascinated with how people that were around her during that time felt the atmosphere, or, you know, found it quite weird.
To have David around at that time where she was quite guarded with Tommy's control over her, and he obviously allowed him into that inner circle, which says in itself that obviously there was some trust there between Tommy and David, perhaps, you know. So because they did work quite well together, with Dreamlover and you know, Honey and Butterfly, that whole period, having that that person on her in her corner was probably some comfort for her as well at that time. Having someone that she could trust and that she works well together, and they can create some great moments together. And there's some amazing mixes.
Speaking of which, I can't let you go before I ask you, very important question. Do you have a favourite Mariah David Morales remix?
Oh my God, where do I start? I Still Believe. Just, oh my God, that's an amazing mix. Obviously, Dream Lover is up there as well. My All, Honey, so many.
How do we pick? I really, really love what he did with Can't Take That Away. The Revival Triumphant mix that goes on for like 10 minutes is so like late night, chilled, you know, wind down. I love that so much. And I could be wrong, but I read or heard once that she recorded those vocals in London. And I don't know. Okay. I don't know what the source is. I've kind of I put that nugget of knowledge in the back of my brain, and I've always carried it around because I thought that's really cool, because Can't Take That Away is a top song for me. I love that remix. And then I find out that she was in England when she recorded the vocals, which makes it even more special. It's a long list of remixes, and it's hard to pick favourites. But I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy hearing what David said when he spoke to you back in the day, and hear your thoughts expanded on it all. So thank you so much for jumping on with me.
Well, thank you for having me, and congrats on the channel. I love the channel. It's just been, when you're in lockdown and there's so much to do on the weekends or during the week, it's good to sort of have, you know, that Mariah fix. And it's so, your channel's so much fun, and you do a great job. So congrats on all the subscribers, and
Thank you so much. That means the world. I'd love to have you back on sometime. Maybe we can do an episode of Hey Lamb, and we can dig in even further into your many years of being a hardcore lamb, and we can swap more stories.
That'll be fabulous. That'll be great. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I really enjoyed that. I feel that little bit closer to Mariah, talking to somebody who interviewed David Morales, who has worked with Mariah on many occasions and given us some incredible dance mixes over the years. That was so much fun. Thank you again to Leo for reaching out in the first place and making today's video possible. If you enjoyed hearing about this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. And if you want to look at ways in which you can support this channel and the work that I'm doing, don't forget to head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. I'll see you again very soon. Cheers, thanks a lot.